Hello, I'm Gamer Vince, and this is my Let's Play of Europa Universalis 4. I'm playing as Castile, starting in 1444. So this is a continuation of my tutorial video. So I'm going to be talking a lot about what I'm doing, and this is going to be part tutorial. But I've gone over all sorts of the individual elements, so if you missed that, go back to my tutorial. If you're like completely new, go to the tutorial and watch that. But if you're not, if you have or if you just want to learn by, doing, sort of, then, by all means, this is a good place to start. Let me turn down the music just a little bit so you guys can hear me properly. I know I've got it like all the way down here, but yeah. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, like I do in every game, is deciding who are going to be my rivals. I'm basically going to go through these tags. Red, by the way, is urgent. Green is pretty much it can if you want to. So first, yeah, we're going to do... By the way, one thing I did do during my tutorial that kind of a decision I made is that I set my army maintenance and fleet maintenance to 0 so that I can make some money. To be perfectly honest, I don't really need to do that as Castile. And I could probably use the army tradition that I'm losing here. But I like to make a nice reserve of money first, so that's what I've done. That's actually the first thing I did. That was during the tutorial. But let's pick some rivals. So currently, England, France, and Aragon have rivaled me, which is fine. Aragon, definitely, I intend to eat them. France, yeah, they rivaled me. I don't particularly want to go to war with France, so I don't like that. But you do what you have to. And England. England, I'm perfectly fine rivaling with. I'm actually kind of sad that Castile is my... sorry, that England is my rival. My last England game, I was buddy-buddy with Castile, so... Well, in any case, so we've got our rivals picked out. Advisors, so... Okay, that 13 a month, I think, is actually misleading. So I'm looking here, I'm seeing 10 a month. So we only have 10 a month to work with, and that's with the army maintenance way down. So advisors, I'm going to be careful with. But... I think I'm gonna pick a administrative advisor because we're gonna have a lot of stuff with administrative technology to do, and I'm pretty sure the first I guess I should really pick exploration. I mean, I'm Castile, it's my first idea group, but I'm gonna pick an administrative advisor. Yep, we can definitely afford one advisor with our treasury. Do we want all three advisors? I think I am going to take a diplomacy advisor because I'm more likely than not I'm going to take the exploration idea, and I'm going to need diplomatic points for that, so might as well start stocking up on those. Alright, so yeah, did that. So we're done with advisors. Yeah, we currently have a truce with Granada, because if we didn't, we would immediately eat them. But we'll have to wait 4 years before we can eat them, which is fine. Disputed successions. This, you will always get this, no matter which game you start, you will get this, where it says like, oh my god, look at all these countries that lack heirs that you could potentially get. No, they're probably, more likely than not, those are all going to get heirs. I once played an Austria game where my king died immediately, literally within the first month. That was awful, but that's very rare. So we're going to ignore that. Mission selected. Like I said, I like to do missions, or I mentioned it in the tutorial, that I like to do missions that are stuff that I'm going to do anyway, or at least that are easy to do. Like solidify papal relationships. This is something good to do no matter whether you have a mission or not. We are Catholic, and we get more papal influence. You can see that as currently modified by 12.5% due to the papal state opinion of us. So it's good to have the papacy like you no matter what. So we might as well take that mission. And it's also easy to do. In fact, I'm going to go work on it right now. So I'm going to go over the papacy, click on them, diplomacy. So now we've got the diplomacy window up for the papacy. Relations actions, improve relations. We're gonna go send to that dude and go have him work on our paper relations. They currently like us 29, and we got to get to 100. No problem. Done and done. Couple of other things before you want to get started. Now we've taken care of all the little flags, but there's still a couple of things I want to do, like make allies. So France hates us, England hates us, and Aragon hates us. So we're not even going to bother asking them. But Portugal, they like us. So we're going to go send them an offer of alliance. Cool. And as soon as we can, we're going to also send them a royal marriage proposal, but I'm pretty sure they're going to send me one, so that's fine. That's just fine. I'm going to go ask, as a way of balancing out Austria, I'm going to ask, as a way of balancing out France, I might want to ask Austria. So Austria, so I didn't mention this during my Let's Play, but during my tutorial, but I'll mention it now, is you see this little X here, this little red X. That means that Austria is not going to accept an offer of alliance. And when I hover over it, I can see why. So first of all, they're neutral towards us. Our army is a lot weaker than them, and they're far away. But it's not an insurmountable problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to improve relations with Austria. And the reason why I want Austria is very powerful. They don't look it on a map, but one handy-dandy tool, another thing that I maybe should have mentioned during my tutorial, but is on the you've got this ledger down here. You click on it, and there's all kinds of information on countries here. You can click on the military tab, and here you've got, in alphabetical order, the countries and how powerful they are. What I like to look at is force limit. Double click on that to order them that, and you can see who can have the largest armies. And lo and behold, Austria is number 1, and France is 2nd, and then there's England. And remember, France and England are my enemies, so I don't like that at all, that either one of them could trounce me. Now that said, they're probably going to be busy with each other, so I don't really care. But it'd be good to have Austria on my side if things go south. So I'm going to try to go for Austria here. Beyond that, there are no real... I mean, Portugal is sort of a given. They're going to like me no matter what. Granada, I'm intending to eat, so I don't want them as an ally, because that'll just make things difficult. There aren't that many other good choices. I could maybe pick Naples. They have a navy that could get to me. You know, I could try Poland, because Poland is just good to have, but they're so far away. Actually, they like me just fine. Yeah, but they're just too far away. So, yeah. And currently all my diplomats are busy, so I think I'm going to unpause the game here and let things sort of play out. So first thing, I'm going to, yeah, Portugal has accepted. An alliance from Navarra. Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot about these little guys. I have a tendency to forget about them. Yes, I'm going to accept this alliance. And the primary reason why I'm accepting this alliance is because if I don't accept the alliance with them, Navarra always tries to ally either Castile or Aragon. Because both Castile and Aragon want to eat Navarra. And if they don't have an alliance, they all just immediately get eaten. So that's fine. And then we're going to go send them a royal marriage proposal. Because they're currently... I will eat them eventually, but I think I want to take most of Aragon before I do that. So they're going to accept that. That's great. So I like to go at speed 3. Click. Yeah, they accepted the marriage proposal. That's all it is. And there's Portugal's marriage proposal. Very good, very good. So yeah, I like to go at speed 3. That is the speed, my preferred speed. I'm going to consolidate. So handy thing about, like, if you have multiple stacks of armies here, you can click this button right here to merge the selected units. So we're going to do that. Oh, it's saving. I think we've got to save every year. So we just got to January, so it's saved. So, you know, that's good. We're upping our relationship with Austria here, and hopefully soon we'll be able to get an alliance. Oh! Oh! Austria's rival is allied with France. We're wasting our time here, so I'm going to pause this here and tell our diplomat to go do something else. So we're going to stop relationship improvement. It's the same place you would find Ration of Rooms. Yeah, that's a pity. No, we don't want to build any improvements yet. Buildings are useless at the beginning of the game because you can't build anything good. Other options that you could pick to ally with Castile, there isn't really anything good. All the stuff in France that surrounds France, like say Provence or Burgundy or Brittany, are gonna go to war with France. France is going to go to war with them. And I don't want to go to war with France. Remember, alliances cut both ways. You know, I can call, if I ally with Provence, they'll come to my aid, sure, but they'll expect me to come to their aid, and it'll cost me prestige and trust to decline. So we don't really want to do that. I'd like to have another ally. I think I'm going to try to go with Naples, because I just don't have very many good options. Oh, right. They're in a personal union under Aragon. I forgot about that. Naples would be nice to have, but they're owned by my rival. It's difficult being Castile. But on the other hand, it also makes things very simple. You know, you don't have to worry about forging very complicated alliances because you don't have that many options. Pardon me. You might notice that I'm not trying to ally with these nations down here. One, well, I guess maybe Tlemcen. I mean, they're willing to get an alliance with me. The only problem is that Portugal is very likely to go to war with Morocco. And Morocco is usually allied with Tlemcen. Let me see. They currently have no alliances, but they probably will. All right, you know what? Let's have an alliance with them, because why not? It might help us. I don't think I can have a royal. Oh, I can have a royal marriage with them. I'm kind of surprised. Because they're what? What religion are they? It's got to be Sunni, right? Yeah. So I'm actually kind of surprised that I can have a religion, Catholic and Sunni. But you know what? I might eventually do that. Oh, oops! Notice that I've made 2 units here. During the tutorial, I made 2 units just to show. Well, now I've got 2 extra units. Well, why not? It's within my force limit, so. By the way, force limit, super important. Don't go above it. It'll cost you lots of money if you do. Stay underneath that. Very simple. All right, and now we're really just going to wait. We're going to go, and that is one thing that you're going to have to get used to in Europa Universalis. There are just times where you're just going to sit and wait. Because I don't particularly want to go to war with Aragon, because they're also allied with Portugal. And they've got Naples. That was unexpected. So Portugal broke their alliance with us. You know, I was kind of assuming that they would be a given ally, because in like every single game, they're one of my allies. But I guess not in this one. So I don't know what levels of bad that is. So they like us just fine, but unfortunately they seem to like Aragon a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send somebody to improve our relations with Portugal, and maybe they'll pick us over Aragon. Wow, I am just surrounded in a sea of enemies. Okay. All right. Well then, remember how I was saying that well, you know, I'll just keep this army maintenance low. We're gonna put that back up, just in case. So, by the way, this green bar here is the morale of your troops, and notice that since my military maintenance was all the way down, it now has to tick up. Now that is the 1st of April, ticked up a little bit, and next month it'll tick up some more. I think I only built 1 unit, because Castile starts with just a unit in Toledo, which that's fine. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Portugal and Aragon here, because they've decided, and They might ally with France as well, which I can't do anything about because they're my rival and they're not going to like me. What I'm just going to do is what I normally do, which is I'm going to fabricate a claim on Garnata, because as soon as our truce with Granada is over, I want to be able to attack them, and a claim on their provinces will really help that. It also makes it cheaper to core later. Pro tip there. Like, for instance, when you click on a province, this province window pops up where there's all kinds of information about it, and there's these cores and claims, and that tells you who has a right to that province. Currently, just Granada. But I'm fabricating a claim, so I'll be able to go there and take it. Yeah, we're just gonna, so my diplomat is eagerly working here, manufacturing that claim for us. Meanwhile, we're just going to sit here. Since my army is at full maintenance, I am going to tell them to protect trade. Protect trade, just, it gives you money. That's all you really need to know. Like, you could look at it here, it's like, oh, this will increase trade value from 0 to 0.4. That's not that good. 3 to 3.24, it's even worse. 2 to 0.6. Oh, there we go. It's not great, but that's a ducat. So yeah, we're going to go send them here to Safi, which I believe is just around here. By the way, if you ever have trouble finding things, hit F on the keyboard, and that'll do like this. So if I want to know where Safi is, I type in Safi. I apparently don't know where Safi is. Oh, I don't think Safi refers to a province. I think that refers to a region. It might be, oh, yes, here's the Safi region. But if you ever need a province, like, if it's ever like, you know, oh, where is Paris? Paris. Click on it. Oh, there is Paris. So, it can help you find things. Now, you probably knew where Paris was, but if it tells you to find something like Augsburg. See? Augsburg. Oh, there's Augsburg. So, that can be an invaluable tool. Let's see. Another pro tip that you'll want to pay attention when these province windows, there's something called a supply limit. That is how big of a stack of an army it can take without that stack taking, you know, being undersupplied and taking damage. So this stack of 22 would actually take damage while in Leon. Here where it's at, it can take 28 comfortably. And another pro tip, some provinces, this is an event for Poland, nothing for us to worry about. Some provinces will have significantly decreased supply limits during winter. Russia. There's a reason why you don't. Oh, there's a nice little like, oh, golden era for culture. Something happened. If you hover, whenever you get events like this, hover over the options and they'll tell you what you actually gain for it. Like, this is great. Gain 5 prestige. So that's all that did. But yeah, so again, some provinces during winter have greatly reduced supply limits. So that's something you need to watch out for. All right, we're almost done manufacturing this claim. As soon as we're done manufacturing this claim, I'm going to produce a claim on the other provinces. I intend to take all 3, and that'll be easier if I have claims on all of them. So diplomacy, fabricate claim. Yep, let's do Mariaya. Actually, I want Jabal Tariq. Let's do that one first. That's the little one here, Jabal Tariq, which is part of the Straits of Gibraltar. So this is an important strait. By the way, if ships occupy this strait, enemy ships, like if you're at war with somebody, they obviously won't be able to pass through, but their units will also not be able to cross. So that's something that's really important. By the way, if you are playing Castile, you can usually expect Portugal to be on your side. That they're breaking their alliance with me is highly unusual. But if we're lucky, then we might be able to have the Iberian Wedding. The Iberian Wedding is an event that can happen for Castile, to Castile and Aragon, where I believe like Castile and Aragon, they need to have a male and a female ruler, and they essentially get married, and Aragon just becomes a vassal under a personal union of Castile, which basically just gives you Aragon, which would also give you Naples, I believe. Oh, so I just finished my mission. The papacy likes me, so that's good. And the current pope died, and we have a new pope. And the pope is part of the papal state. That's all good. That's all fine and dandy. Oh, so you know how we were fabricating a claim and there was a risk of our guy being discovered? Well, he was discovered, which it says our reputation will suffer. Yeah, a tiny, 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 tiny bit. And the main thing is it's much slower. Like, I don't know if you were seeing how quickly that was going up before, but it's going up at not even like half the speed now, so it's going to take our guy longer, but he'll still finish his mission. Let's see what else we got. Rival over our rival. Burgundy. Alright, we'll go talk to Burgundy. So, I took the mission to improve Burgundy's opinion of me, so I'm just going to go to them. Oh, all my guys are doing something. Well, we're kind of done with the papacy. See, because we're going to improve relations with Rome or the papacy. Yep, so I'm going to right-click on that and say, like, yep, I want to return him home. Yeah, you can't do that much more anyway, so, yep, return him home. I could ally with Burgundy, which I might do, but France is always in danger of going to war with Burgundy. France is going to go to war with Provence and Savoy and Brittany and usually Burgundy. Those are, like, their big targets. And France is very powerful. I believe they're referred to by the EU community as the Big Blue Blob, or they can turn into the Big Blue Blob because they are just going to conquer everything around them. So, yeah, they're forced to be reckoned with. All right, now notice that I'm already 3 years into the game. Like, that went by like nothing. Years, you know, you don't need to do something every year, and in fact, most years you're not going to do anything. Right now we're gaining money, which is good. Keep your ducat, keep your income at positive, or at least not negative. And we're basically just preparing to go to war with Granada here, and our truce, they allied with Morocco. That's unfortunate. So I was really hoping that they wouldn't get an ally before we go to war with them. But yeah. Now, so I have a question here. So they're allied with Morocco, right? Which is bad because I don't really want to fight Morocco and Granada. That's waste of energy and resources. The question, though, is, can I easily take Morocco and Granada at the same time? So this is a handy-dandy question for the ledger. So I have no idea how powerful Morocco is, so we're going to sort this by country, and we're going to go down to M for Morocco. There it is. So they have a force limit of 18, which is, if Granada and Morocco were combined, they would actually have a bigger force limit than me, I think. Yeah, mine's not that high. So that would be a problem, but only if they can cross the Straits of Gibraltar. So what I'm going to try to do is send my navy, that's currently patrolling, Safi. I'm going to send it here and just have it sit here, and I'll be safe from them as long as my navy is more powerful than theirs, because they won't be able to take this from me, and they're not going to have a lot of options for crossing otherwise. They could try to go for the Gulf of Emiria, but if I pay attention, I could just sink their ships. So we're going to go to the ledger again. Instead of looking at this page, we're going to go to the ledger index. We're going to go to military, and we're going to go to navy. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go look for Morocco. Actually, let me first look at Granada. Granada actually has some ships. They have 8 light ships. It's actually not that bad. It's more than I expected. But how much does Morocco have? Morocco has, they have 3 heavy ships and 6 light ships. Those heavy ships are scary. And they have some transports. So they have 18 total, which is the same as me. So their navy is basically on par with my navy. Their navy's better, excuse me. I have more transports. They have more light ships. Their navy is actually better. So that would be a problem. So let's make some ships. I'm actually going to make some Carracks, some heavy ships, because they're very, very powerful. That's going to take a long time, though, but hey. We've got the... It's also very expensive. Notice how much money that's costing me, but 3 extra heavy ships, that's going to make all the difference, I think, in that fight. I think that's all I'm going to need. Notice that you also have a naval force limit, so watch out for that. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to build some ships. Having a navy for Castile is important. Yeah, if I could pull Portugal into this fight, I'd be much less worried, but I won't be able to pull Portugal because they're not an ally of mine. Navarro is useless. They're far too small to be of any help. I entered an alliance with them to protect them, not to have them help me. So, there's that. And there aren't a whole lot of other people in that. Now, I do have Tlemcen. And Tlemcen is probably it could fight Morocco. They'd lose. They're much smaller. I can now see what they have. They've got 9,000 guys. And they do have those ships, which is 7 galleys. Not light ships. That's not the trade ships. It's the galleys, which are actually going to be pretty good around here. But yeah. Yep, lots of things to consider. Yep, I can build castles. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know why this keeps popping up. I guess because I have money. But I'm not interested in building castles right now. Cadiz would actually be a good place to have a castle, because that would keep them kind of blocked in here until they can take it. Castles, by the way, which are these little fortification icons. Yep. Can't improve relations anymore. There's a cap. So we can recall that guy. Alright, so now our truce has ended, but I'm still building ships. As you can see, that's going to take still well over a year. But actually, if I could pull in Tlemcen, I could probably pull it off. So if I click on the declare war button here, yep, Morocco would come in, and I could call Tlemcen. So that's what these check marks mean. It means, yes, they will most likely accept. It's not actually most likely, it's they will accept. And the check mark is, I know it always says most likely. To me, it's a certainty. I've never seen it be wrong unless something changes immediately after you send the request. So I can pull in Tlemcen, and if I take all of... Now, my army is bigger than Morocco's, so if my army wipes Granada, then Morocco won't be able to do anything. I think I'd prefer to wait for my ships to be done then, because that would make things a little bit easier. Yeah. And I'd probably want to build up to my force limit, because when your force limit is low, like mine is, you might as well go up to it. And in fact, my army could use some knights. So I'm going to build, let's say, 3 knights. And that'll put me at 27. Yeah, 27 I think is good enough. Alright, so we're going to wait. We're just going to wait for all that stuff to stop building. Yeah, normally I'd like to go to war with Granada literally as soon as that expires. But since we don't have our alliance with Portugal, which is unusual, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. And you've got time in this game. Like, a decade is nothing. You know, really don't worry about it. And in fact, what I would say... Alright, so Austria's declared war in Baden. I'm not sure why it's telling me this. I'm sure other wars have been started, but... that's fine. Alright, so notice that the game, when you're playing single player... So not do this in multiplayer, but in single player, whenever an event comes up, it'll pause it for you. So you can read it and take your time. And you can pause. If it doesn't pause it, you can pause it. So it's all good. Alright, so something about monetary reforms. I can enact the monetary reforms. Oh, I hate this one. Which will make me lose a stability, which I'm not fond of, but I'll lose 1 inflation. Or I can gain 3 inflation, which is crappy. 3 inflation is basically everything else. Everything will become more expensive, because my money will be worth less. So, these are both kind of terrible, especially since I currently have no inflation. So the fact that this makes me lose an inflation is not helpful to me, because I don't have any. But I still think that losing a stability is preferable to losing 3 inflation. The reason why I say that is that you have this button here that says reduce inflation. Notice that it costs me 75 administrative power to reduce inflation by 2. And if I go to stability here, I can boost my stability by 1 for 100. So 3 inflation costs me more administrative points to undo than a stability drop. Now, notice that this stability drop is that this costs me 100 going from 0 to 1, and it's going to be something similar, but slightly more expensive from -1 to 0. And you'll see that in a moment, because I'm going to enact them. I'm like, oh no, black news indeed. People are losing faith in our government. Oh no. And to be perfectly honest, like I said in my tutorial, you want to keep your stability at 0 or above if you can help it. So I'm going to boost it. Oh, it still costs 100. Okay, great. So that was a crappy event because it didn't help us and it hurt us, but such is the nature of the game. Wow! Did the Burgundian inheritance just... Wait. Tells of King Burgundy dies, the great confil of Burgundy. Oh my god, the Burgundian inheritance just happened. Okay, so there's a couple of very famous events in this game. The Burgundian inheritance is one. So this is already turning into a very unusual game. Because the Burgundian inheritance normally doesn't happen until much later. But what has essentially just happened is that the King of Burgundy died, and because he died, France and Austria get all of Burgundy's holdings, because there's nobody left to rule Burgundy. So that was just a huge boon to France and a huge boon to Austria. And normally that doesn't happen so early in the game. So, and also we can't complete our mission now because, well, they died. Well, alrighty then. So, we've got a couple of other missions. I'm currently not intending to do any of this stuff. I might do improve our prestige, but it goes, you know, free stability would be nice. But it says have a prestige of at least 50. I don't think I can get to 50 prestige anytime soon. I might take this mission anyway. Finishing the Reconquista. We're not going to do that for a little bit. Oh, yes I am. Oh, it's just these. For some reason I thought the Reconquista was included Aragon. No, we're totally doing this. Yeah, alright. Yeah, we're going to do that. Absolutely. We're on our way to do that, so of course we're going to do that. And I don't even know what the rewards are. Oh, the rewards are bonuses to my army. Cool. 10 years of it. Cool, cool, cool. We're going to go send these guys down here to join that army. Alright, so right now we're still waiting for boats. Very strange things happening in Europe. I'm going to go send a diplomat. Notice my diplomats aren't doing anything right now. You should probably keep your diplomats busy. You might as well. Come on. You really not want... Oh, we're so close. I'm actually going to go improve my relations with people that hate me to make it slightly less likely that they'll attack me, because I really don't want to fight them right now. I don't think they particularly want to fight me either, but man, the diplomatic scene here is grim. Now they're same with Austria, so I'm gonna keep improving relations with Austria. They don't actually dislike me a whole lot, so if I could get Austria as an ally, especially since the Burgundian inheritance happened so early. Austria is very strong right now, same with France, so I'm going to try to get them on my good side. France is really unlikely to attack me right now, because they're not really adjacent to me. They might try to go take Navarro, I've seen that before. Aragon's much more likely to go to war with France, which I think I would be for. That would be okay with me, simply because that will weaken Aragon. But yeah, I'm just basically keeping my diplomats busy. I mean, most of these improved relations aren't going to do me a whole lot of good. But I might as well do it because my diplomats aren't doing anything else. Now, you do need a diplomat free in order to declare war, so I'll have to free one of these up when I want to declare war in Granada. but that's fine. We'll do that. Until then, we're just gonna sit around here. Normally, my preferred thing to do right now would be to build to amass wealth by just completely dumping my army maintenance to just build some cash to use once buildings start becoming useful, and sitting on a pile of cash is never bad. But I am actually just a little bit paranoid about Portugal. Like, I'm surrounded by enemies. Normally, you've got Portugal as an ally, and then it's just like, haha, I can keep my army, say, over here, nice and safe, so if Aragon attacks, I've got a couple of months before my army, like, I can immediately put my army maintenance back up. Aragon will, you know, start stomping through my provinces. My army will be back here, but then my army will build itself back up, and it's no problem. Now that I'm surrounded and they could attack from anywhere, I'm a little bit worried. Just a little bit worried. But that's okay. You know, that's what EU4 is about. No game is the same. The start is historical, but after that, anything can happen. As long as I'm waiting around here, might as well talk about score, because why not? I just noticed that I'm 9th, which is 9th rank in score. We're actually gaining a little bit of score. That's based off of these rankings. I'm actually 5th militarily, which, you know, that's nice. And the score means nothing, to be perfectly honest. You can aim to push it higher, and if you want a breakdown of what the score actually entails, you can go to Ledger, Country, Score Comparison, and then you can see, like, who's got the highest administrative and the lowest or whatever. How many points are people gaining in a month, and so on and so forth. What's their placement? And if you hover over it, it'll tell you why. So there's all kinds of stuff you can find out there about that. But score is totally irrelevant. When you play a game of Europa Universalis, you set your own goals. You have your own version of success. Like when I play Castile, my goal might be to just form Spain. And if I form Spain, mission accomplished. That might be all I really am playing this game for. I might do it to be like a colonial superpower, in which case, you know, I'll probably never make Castile very big, but I'll have like all kinds of, or Spain, but I might have a bunch of provinces overseas and be like a colonial superpower. So, you know, that's good. Oh, I just noticed my ship's finished building. I was too busy talking. So we're gonna go have my ships reconvene here. I'm gonna go cancel their mission here. I want them to be able to fight. So we're gonna go park my ships here. They're sort of on their way there. And we're gonna declare, I have no diplomats. What did I just say about needing people to send? So I don't think France is gonna do anything to me, so we're gonna return them home. It takes 9 days for the guy to come back from France. And pause. So we're going to declare war, and yeah, we'll want to take, bring Tlemcen into the war. By the way, the reason why there's a check mark here is that you can do what's called declare them as a co-belligerent, which basically means that you are going to, so right now the target is Granada, and they'll pull in Morocco, but Morocco can't bring in their own allies, which would be, let's see, actually just Granada. I could just make them a co-belligerent because they wouldn't be able to bring in anybody else because I'm already at war with Granada. But co-belligerent means that the goal of the war isn't just Granada. It's also, I shouldn't say goal because that's an actual term in the game. What I should say is that you're not just going to war with Granada and their allies. You're going to war with specifically Granada and Morocco, and what that means is that taking their provinces is cheaper during the peace negotiations. So I currently have no reason not to declare Morocco as a co-belligerent. It's very rare for people to gain allies during a war. You take huge penalties for making allies while in a war because you don't usually want to be pulled in. So I think I'm actually going to do that. So I'm going to declare Morocco as a co-belligerent because I don't really see any reason not to. So the war, and so I've got this Conquest Cassius Belli. Cassius Belli. And I can pick which specifically. I think I'm going to make it Granada, because that's their capital, and the one I intend to take the most. You can hover over it and get some, it's like, aha, so there's 100% cost for that, there's 75 aggressive expansion, and 100% prestige for these 3 provinces. That's what they own. And that's where we're going to war. And this is going to be the war goal, by the way. And that's important, because, as you'll see, as I declare war now, ba-ba, now we are at war! I can call... Oh, did I not call? Oops. I didn't call them to war. I forgot to put the check mark next to them. Alright, but now I've called Tlemcen to the war, which is fine. If you forget to do it initially, you can just do it immediately afterwards. That's no problem. I'm going to move at speed 2, just at least initially. This is just telling you that you're at war, which you really should know, especially since I'm the one who declared it. And notice that there's a battle here. Oh, whenever you see these crossed swords, that means there's a battle. I think that's because these guys, the Granada fleet right here is moving towards here. For a second there, I thought that was the Portuguese fleet, and I was worried. But no, the Portuguese fleet's right there. It's the Granada fleet. And yeah, we're going to go march right into there. So crossed swords, that means it's time for a battle. Alright. And a battle by itself, you're not really going to need to do anything here. I just noticed that one of my heavy ships has found a battle with another little ship and has sunk it. So we're going to combine them, keep them all nice and together. So notice this battle is going on. I should have assigned a general, but it doesn't matter. When you outnumber your opponent as heavily as I do, it doesn't really matter. That battle didn't actually go particularly well. But we're going to win it regardless, so that's fine. So we won it. We gained some war score. So I'm going to select... let me just talk about what I'm doing so you can see what it is. So first of all, I'm sieging a province now. So we had a battle. They're retreating. Their units that are left are retreating. And we're starting to siege this province. We currently have a negative 49% chance of taking the castle on the next roll. You get 1 roll every month, and your chances improve as you siege. So that's what's going on here. The little skull symbol means I'm losing units, primarily due to siege, but I'm also over the unit limit. And yeah, so that's what's going on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button here, which says detach enough units to keep a proper siege going. So if I click this, I now have got 12 units selected that are going to go hunt down these guys. It's a lot of horses. Horses are apparently no good at sieging, so I got all my horses. That's fine. They can still win that. So the retreating units are really low in morale, so we're going to go try and hunt them down. So we're going to go here. The reason why I'm going into my own territory first, just FYI, is I'm going to get me a general. So the way to get yourself a general is you select your units, you click on leader, and I already have one, so I'm going to assign this guy, and he gives you all kinds of neat combat buffs, and then we're going to just run right into them. And notice that they're really low on morale right now, so this should not go very well for them. By the way, oh yeah, we just wiped the stack. So that went extremely well. Yeah, my horses are no good at sieging, so there's no real purpose to keep them there. So we're just going to stay nearby. Okay. So notice that things are not going well for Tlemcen. Not really my concern, but it is going to hurt my war score. So let's talk. Really, my military leader just died. So obviously, people die of old age, and as they get older, there's a higher chance of them dying. People don't stay around forever. You know, the 6 years that have passed in this game may be nothing to me, but apparently for a general, they were lethal. So our leaders died, so we don't have one right now, but you can always hire another one. So it costs some monarchy points, but not much. It's really fine. Anyway, what I was trying to talk about is war score. So if you click on this little button down here, that's the war button. Like, it tells you about the war you are in. So you can click on it, and it tells you about, like, what's your participation, like, who's pulling all the weight. Like, Tlemcen's actually fighting a lot against Morocco right now, so they're pulling a lot of it. It tells you about, like, here's war enthusiasm. So Granada is not terrible. It's because they're building units. I should be conquering their provinces. I'm being a bad commander here. I mean, it's really fine. They have no way of bouncing back, but I should have taken their provinces instead of just like letting them make more. So we're going to detach a siege there. Notice that if it's a place with no fort, just one guy, or rather 1,000 men, can just take the province. So I just left these 1,000 guys behind, and that's fine. And these guys are going to go do that. So I pressed the same button, detach siege. And we're going to send these guys over here. And notice that when it doesn't have a province, it just takes one roll, and you have a 100% chance of getting it. So no worries there. Okay, now let me talk about war score. So again, there's a bunch of information here. Here it talks about the battles, and when you hover over the war score, it's between negative 100 and a positive 100, and here's the breakdown. The two things that are really important are taking your enemy's capital and oh, we had a truce with Portugal because they broke their alliance with us. That's right. The two things that are really important are taking the war goal, or completing the war goal, and taking your enemy's capital. And we're so... Oh, really? Again? We just had this event! Same choice. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the same decision. Pause this and boost that back up. It's just really administrative tax. I'm gonna go back in there. I'm not gonna send these guys here because don't really need to. And yeah, so obviously Tlemcen's not doing particularly well, but that's okay. They're costing us a little bit of war score because they're losing battles. Like, notice... Well, we're getting a positive war score because we won the majority of battles. But notice we lost this one battle, which was Tlemcen against Morocco. So they're losing us a bit of war score, but that's okay. They'll lose us a lot more once their capital is taken. They'll really lose their appetite for war here. But because we'll be sitting on Granada's capital and the war goal, things should be fine. The other thing I'd like to point out is that it takes a really long time to siege a province. It really does. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to split the stack. Horses may not be useful, but these infantry are. I don't really want to go over the supply limit of 17. I don't see any reason to do so. So I'm going to create a new unit. If you saw what button I pressed there. So when you've got a stack selected, you can do create a new unit here with these arrows. And you can pick which units you want. So I just want the infantry. I'm going to select this unit, tell them to go here and join the siege and make it go a little bit quicker. The more units you have, the quicker it sieges. I don't think horses help, though. So we're going to have them go in there. I'm going to select them both and make them join up again because it's easier to control them. Other thing I'd like to point out is notice that there's currently 15,000.7 men. We've lost men, but they automatically get reinforced from our pool of manpower. So notice our manpower has gone down. It's because people died, but we're reinforcing them. Because we can reinforce them. Don't go into the province. I don't want you to go there. I'm just going to have these guys move around. Now that we notice that there's these little stripes across here, that means we currently are occupying the province. That means, for all intents and purposes right now, it's our province. I could literally build buildings here if I wanted to. I could produce units here. Now, it wouldn't be very efficient because it's an occupied province, but I could do it if I wanted to. Yeah. We're going to have to help these guys out, I think, because I'd ideally like to take all of Granada in this war. And if Morocco is still kicking, they might not agree to let me take all of Granada. Alright, since I'm just waiting around here, like I said, if during wartime, I usually like to be at speed 2, just to keep things, you know, sort of clear and under control and not moving too fast. But since we've pretty much won this bit, and they can't really do anything to us because we're blocking here. I'm not really sure what's going on here, in terms of like the units moving here. Tlemcen's boats are moving in a weird way. They keep giving them orders and canceling them. But essentially, blue, by the way, means ally. Green means yours. Red means enemy. Gray means neutral. So it's another thing to know. Yep, we're sieging the capital. Things are going well. Little symbol things here. You notice that there's a hole in this wall. It's like a bronzish color, and it's got a hole. That means they've breached the walls, and their siege is going a lot quicker. Even though they started their siege later, they breached the walls sooner. So their siege is now going much quicker than ours. By the way, also, when you see this red stuff here, that means you have insufficient units to siege a province, which means they're going to make no progress whatsoever because it's too weak. All right, so now we've taken all of Granada. So let's talk about making peace. I don't think they're going to accept this, but we might as well check. So when you click on... So there's two ways to do this. You can click on your war and select this optional, you can make a peace. And you can select who you talk to. I could talk to Morocco, or I could talk to Granada. And then you can ask for certain things. Well, first of all, we're going to, the offer should already be clear. So right now, this is what we call a white peace, where nobody gains anything. Well, we obviously don't want that. We want their countries. Two ways to do this is you could go under seed provinces and click on all their little countries, on all their little provinces, and take them. Clear that. Or you could just click on what you want on the map. That works too. Other things that you can ask for is money, ducats. You can just be like, I want all your money. And there are a bunch of other things you can do, like, for instance, annul treaties. If it's like, no, you shouldn't be allied with Morocco anymore. Break your alliance with Morocco. I could ask them to do that. I could force them to be my vassal, in which case that's like conquering them. They have to do what I say, but I don't have direct control. I could get them to concede defeat, which just makes me gain prestige, and they lose prestige. It's not terribly useful. Transfer trade power is another trade thing, and I kind of don't worry about trade. If you're a new player, don't worry about trade. I'll talk a little bit about trade, and probably a little bit later, but you can ignore it at the beginning. Other things you can do here is you can make them release nations. This is particularly good for big countries. You can make them pop out nations, and it's a strategic thing you could do. You can make them cancel subjects if it's like, for instance, I don't know, no, France doesn't have any, but I think Provence has Lorraine as a subject. You can basically make them give up their subjects. You could do return cores, which basically means, hey, France, you took some stuff from Austria, give it back. I could make France give back stuff to Austria, for example. And revoke cores just means they give up their claims, sort on parts they have. So, like, for instance, if this was like the third time I've gone to war with Granada and I took a bunch of their provinces, I could be like, hey, give up your claims on these provinces I've previously taken from you. All right, so that's what all that stuff means. In Art of War, which is the DLC I recommend it in my tutorial, and I'm going to recommend it here again. You get a bunch of other options, like I think war reparations, which just nice variety. Okay, but let's talk back about what we're actually doing, which is what I want is that, but they're not willing to agree to this yet. If you want to see why, you can hover over this, and you see that there's, again, a positive and a negative opinion. You've got to get to the positive for them to accept it. Right. So they really don't like it because it would cease them to exist. Another thing that I'm surprised we actually got is that, so we've got a war score of 36%, and we've got a peace offer value of 35, which means that this is within our asking power. Like, if you go above the war score, quite often you will see them say, like, you are asking for something above the war score, they'll not accept that. because it's a negative 1,000. So you usually got to keep, like, let's see, I'm sure I could get it there. Oh, that's actually, it's not that bad. Demands exceed war score. Because it only exceeds it by a little bit, it's -7. So, but yeah. So essentially, this is what we want, but we can't have it yet because they're still holding out hope that Morocco can do something here, which, of course they can't. But we got to go prove that. So this is a good time to talk about how to make your troops travel across water, because it's something you'll probably come across now and again. So we're going to set it to speed 2. So I'm going to make my guys go here. Notice that as I took this province, there was a bunch of boats in port. And I forced them out and forced them to fight as part of this. So it's really easy to cross boats. All you need is units that are small enough to go into the transports. So notice that I've just clicked and these units are not going. Notice that the stack of 17 is not going and the stack of 9 is. That's because I only have 10 transports. The 9 can get across because each transport can hold 1 unit essentially. But the 17 cannot. So you're going to have to split this into bite-sized chunks. To be perfectly honest, I don't really want my horses going there by themselves. That would be a poor plan. So how do you break this up into nice bite-sized chunks? You could do the create new unit, but a quicker way to do it is see this button here with like 2 people and a line. Well, this is split in half, and it's literally going to split your stack in half as evenly as it can. So now I've got 2 stacks of 9, I believe, so they'll all be able to make it. So they're going to go walk across there now, and I'll send those 9 first, and then the next 9. One thing about ocean travel is that so when a battle starts, there's all kinds of modifiers that affect the battle, like for instance terrain. The defender has the advantage in mountain terrain. A defender has a big advantage. The defender, by the way, always has an advantage, I'm pretty sure. But the you get different. Oop. It looks like Tlemcen just pieced out of the war, and that did not end well for them. Notice that there's now another country here. So Tlemcen, I guess, decided it was not worth waiting to make peace, so they decided to make peace now. I'm pretty sure I can still take Morocco, so we're going to keep going here. But that does free up their army, which is a little bit worrying. So what I was trying to get to, talking about wars, is that you take a big penalty for attacking straight from a boat. A naval invasion gives you a big penalty to any kind of combat that would immediately ensue there. There's currently no combat, they have no units there, but it's something that, could have happened. So Tlemcen is out of the war, which is, again, unfortunate, but it's fine, really. Because I think I can beat up Morocco enough to get my war score up. Actually, now that they're no longer occupying stuff, I wonder if that's improved my bargaining position. No, it has not. Okay, we'll just keep going. Well, get the next batch, get those other infantry there first. My horses are not going to be nearly as useful as the infantry. And, let me pause this real fast. So they have so leaders make actually quite a bit of difference. So I want a leader, so I'm going to spend some military power, confirm new leader. Wow, he's terrible. So these pips sort of represent how good a leader is. This leader is really, really bad, but he's better than nothing, I guess. Slightly better than nothing. Because I think they're coming for me, and that does not bode well for me. So things might go south here, because they're going to get here pretty dang quick. And I really need these 9 guys here, because they've got a stack of 15, and I've got a stack of 9 here right now, which I don't like those odds. But once I have a stack of 18 here, it's a lot better, and we are the defender. All right, so This could be tight. This could be tight. Alright, so the battle has started, and we're losing. Because there was only 9 guys there. And they're not here yet. Oh boy. Oh, we're here. We're winning the fight now. Just barely. Get those horses here. Get those horses here. If I'd had my entire stack here, it wouldn't even have been much of a fight. They wouldn't have attacked that. Alright, so we won it. And that really helped our war score. So we got... that was actually really close. Alright, so I'm going to pause it again. Because notice our war score went up. And nope, they're still not willing to go with it. But we'll probably have to take a couple of Morocco's provinces to make them give it up. But that's fine. Yep, our diplomat is done all they can for our relations with Aragon. That's fine. Nope, they're still not... oof. Oh, it's right, of course. We're in offensive war, so that's... If you're in offensive... yeah, like I said, if you're in a war, it's difficult to make allies. So I was just checking to see... is Aragon at war with France? Yes, Aragon is at war with France. Again, I'm not really sure how I feel about this, because if France takes a bunch of stuff from Aragon, then I might have to go to war with France eventually. And France has gotten... since the Burgundian inheritance fired so early, France is very powerful. Yeah, Aragon is going to get completely wrecked here. What I'm actually hoping, let's see, is I'm assuming England, Connaught, Leinster, Aragon, and Naples. France is not at war with Portugal. Oh, but they're allied to England. Oh, they're still allied to Aragon. That's interesting. Normally, I'm surprised that Portugal isn't at war with France, because France is at war with Aragon. So, well, I guess good for Portugal not to get involved in all of that. It's the supply limit here, 20. I'm not happy about that, but I'm not going to do anything. So, one thing that forts do is block movement. Like, I couldn't go through here, so I can go here and here, but I couldn't go, like, all the way back here. Like, notice the little X's. Can go here, but forts are blocking movement all over the place. And also notice that while we are at war, I'm losing money because my armies need to be reinforced. Reinforcing armies is not free. It takes money to hire, train, and bring those men to the front. So, yeah, we're actually losing money right now. That's not permanent, though. Like, if you're reinforcing units and you're at negative, that's pretty common. And it's not gonna... like, I've got plenty of money right now. I'm not worried about minus 1.2 ducats. Who cares? Once we've taken this fort, I'm going to once again reevaluate to see... oh, we just breached the walls, so that should go quick. But I'm going to reevaluate my position against Morocco. I might actually be able to get stuff from Morocco as well. By the way, the way to make a separate piece is... so you can go again here, and I could talk to Morocco. Or I could just click on them, do diplomacy, and do sue for peace, and that'll also take me to the screen. Yep, can't do anything more with Austria. It's good for them to like me. Because if they were to... oh, they would actually be willing to get into an alliance with me. Because notice that, you know, it says minus 1,057. Well, without the minus 1,000 for being in an offensive war, it would be minus 57 to a positive 105. So I could actually get an alliance with Austria as soon as I'm done with this war. So I'm going to do that. All right, so Siege of Tangiers is over. Great. Let's talk. Really, really, Granada? You don't want to peace out yet? And neither does Morocco. I'm actually kind of surprised. So it looks like we're going to have to go beat up Morocco some more. where's their capital? So, capitals. Oh, here it is. The way to identify the capital is it has this little crown. I found no good way to just find a capital. I really wish I did, but all capitals have the little crown. So we're going to go siege their capital. There is no quicker way to make an enemy surrender than taking their capital. Now that we have this fort here, I'm actually going to send my ships. Now, there's no reason to send them there. Their ships are currently hiding in port because they know as soon as they come out, we completely destroy them. Yeah, I'm glad I built the couple of extra heavy ships. Probably what they're going to go do now is... Didn't I have a general? Oh, I do have a general. Oh, there's the star. So they're currently walking into here. I think I'm going to go get into another fight with them, just to weaken them. Now, normally I prefer to avoid fights whenever possible during a war. If I can win a war without any fights, or with a minimum number of fights, I'll do it. Primarily just because it'll save me manpower. Alright, so we're going to go in here, and we're going to have a good old fight. So this time they have the defender's advantage, but we have so many more units that I think we should win this. That said, though, you know, the defender advantage can be quite high. Now, this is in dry lands, which the terrain doesn't give the terrain does not give the defender that much of an advantage, so we pretty much completely destroyed them. So Portugal's asking for military access. That's fine. I bet that's to go fight France. Nope, Tunis and the Ottomans. Therefore, with the Ottomans are all the way over here. I bet it's just they're fighting Tunis and the Ottomans get called in as an ally. That's fine. Who does Portugal have? Aragon, Naples, Portugal, and Florence. All right. So I'm really happy that my enemies are currently in all these wars. That's going to keep them nice and weak, and that means that if I were to go to war with them, first of all, it means that they're probably unlikely to declare war on me, and second of all, it weakens them, softens them up, so that maybe I can go to war with them. So good. Oh, my king, another bad event. So I can lose 1,000 diplomatic power, which is not great, or I can lose... Oh, or I could lose 1 stability, which, as we know, is like losing 1,000 administrative power. I currently prefer to lose 1,000 diplomatic power because I've already lost 2,000 administrative power. So I'm getting some bad events here. They're usually not all bad. Usually there's some good ones to balance it out. All right, yeah, we won that battle, so let's get going here. Now that we've won that battle, we might actually be able to get what we want. No, still not. Man, my war score is 63, and they're just not willing. Well, they don't want to be annexed. I can understand that. So as soon as we take Fez, I'm pretty much 100% guaranteed that... oh, we finally got a good event. But as soon as we take Fez, their capital, they're going to accept whatever the heck I propose, like within reason. But anything within the war score, they're going to accept. All right, National Epic. This is an event you'll quite often see. You can lose a little bit of administrative power and a few ducats to get yearly prestige for 20 years, apparently, which is well worth it to me. Prestige can be kind of hard to come by. Yes, I love a good story. Alright. Oop, it unpaused for it. Alright, I'm going to put to speed 3 because... Actually, you know what? I kind of... after I'm done with this war, I'm going to end this video, you know, because these videos... I know my videos tend to kind of run long, so I want to hurry this up a little bit. I didn't think the war would take this long. But, yeah, I'm going to go to speed 4, because I'm really just waiting to siege this castle. They're trying to take back this castle, which is kind of irrelevant. One, because I think I can outrace them. Oh yeah, definitely now that I've breached the walls. So I'm going to take their capital long before they take this, and then I'm going to peace out, which means their sieging, trying to siege this back, isn't even kind of come into the equation of the war score, which is all I really care about. There's a peace offer from Morocco, which means, by the way, when these peace offers are always less than what you could get. So I'm just going to right-click on that to dismiss it, because I have no intention of taking it. But their peace offers are always garbage. you can always get way more just by negotiating it yourself. And as soon as we take Fez, we should be able to get quite a bit. Also, in my experience, it's usually a good idea to make a separate peace with people that you're beating, because you can get stuff from them. Poof. So because wow, the supply limit's 11 here, we are just bleeding men. Our manpower is now down to 0. That's not good. I don't like that at all. Because the supply limit is so low here. We're losing a lot of men. But I want to siege this quickly. Alright, Siege of Fez is over. We're going to drop the speed down to 3. Because after this... Alright, so first, I'm going to make a separate peace with Morocco. I'm going to get Morocco out of this fight. First of all, I always take money, because it's something you can get that costs you basically nothing. Like, you will get a little bit of inflation. But notice that there's a bunch of negative things you get that you can get. Like, for instance, some peace offers will cost you diplomatic power. You can get what's called aggressive expansion penalty, which basically makes other countries not like you. So what I could do is, for instance, I could take this province. So what that would cost me, first of all, it would cost me 21 diplomatic power. Second of all, I would get aggressive expansion with 11 countries between 1 and 12, which are probably a bunch of countries down here, but also Portugal and Aragon. And so they would not like me for taking that, but I might take it anyway. I could also make them release nations if it's... Like, for instance, I could make them release this as a nation. They're not willing to agree to that because my war score, specifically with Morocco, is only 50%. Even though my overall war score is 88, Morocco still has all this territory they hold, and they have an army. So they're like, yeah, we're losing and we want out of this war, but we can still fight. So I can't quite get there. But if I had enough war score, or if I was willing to push this some more, I could try to make them release Fez. I don't really want to do that. What I am going to do is I'm actually going to make them annul their treaty with Granada, just because for the prestige. Because notice, I'm currently getting 1.7 prestige. If I do this, they lose a prestige and I gain a prestige, just for making them annul their treaties. Which, I'm going to take their money, I'm going to make them annul their treaties, and I'm going to take one of their provinces. I think they've been pretty thoroughly humiliated here. So we're going to send that demand. I could probably ask for more, but I don't want this aggressive expansion to go up too high. Because if it goes up too high, we're in danger of coalitions forming against us, which is a bunch of countries, which is really bad. And we're going to take the rest of Granada, so we'll have enough on our plate as is. So we're going to send that demand. Just unpause it for a second. They, of course, accepted, as we knew they would, because there's a check mark. So now this army is exiled. What exiled means is that it's not going to do anything. It can't do anything. No, you're not going to walk all the way around. Good lord. What was it suggesting? Like, it was suggesting to walk all the way around there. No, we're not doing that. We're going to transport them back using ships. Next, now our war score is 100% because, well, we own everything. So we're going to take all their money and all their land, and it's going to be great. And there's nothing else we can really ask for because nothing will be left. So, pow. Okay, fantastic. We've won our first war. Hooray! So they gave me a bunch of money, and I finished the Reconquista. And everything's great. Like, things are fantastic. Immediately after a war, there's a couple of things you want to do. Or rather, can do, but probably should do. First is, some of your provinces lack cores. So when you click on this, it'll take you to this page, which... so now we've got this overextension. Overextension is bad. It causes unrest. It's just all kinds of, like, bad things happening. So what we got to do is we got to core these provinces to get rid of it, which costs administrative power. I usually like to go with the cheapest ones first, because they take the least. Like, notice that this one takes 18 months. This one takes 40 months. Oh, this one only takes 18 months. We'll actually go with this one first. And then we'll do these two. And notice we don't have enough administrative points to do this one, but these should finish relatively quickly and reduce our overextension by a lot. Is all the Granadan provinces. Yeah, they usually go the same speed no matter which ones you do, but I like to do the cheaper ones first, just because in case I need my administrative power for something else. But I'm going to try to do all of them at once. Notice that our war exhaustion is currently very high. At 5, things get kind of bad. But that said, it should start going down. Now that we've made peace, it should start going down. So that's one thing you want to do. The second thing you probably want to do is these provinces don't like that you just annex them. That's, you see this unrest number. They might revolt, meaning that armies, rebel armies, will rise up in these provinces and you'll have to put them down, or they're going to take the province and sit on it until you can take them out. And they might demand all kinds of awful things. So one way to combat this unrest is what's called autonomy. So autonomy is bad. Notice that with 50%, we're only making half the taxes. We're getting half the manpower. It's harder to recruit here. Autonomy is bad. It's basically the local government just doing whatever they want instead of doing what we want. And you can increase or decrease that autonomy. But in increasing the autonomy, yeah, bad things happen. It's worthless. But the local unrest goes down by a lot. So I almost always increase the local autonomy in provinces I take because I really don't want to deal with the stuff that pops up. So I go to all the provinces that I've just taken and do that. The other way to do that, by the way, is to have this thing. You can't change local autonomy again. You can't just keep buffing it up until there's no unrest. You can only increase it or decrease it like once every 20 years or something like that. And by the way, local autonomy goes down naturally because of your government. Like notice under my feudal kingdom, it should... Oh, actually, my local autonomy does not change anymore. It goes down naturally, but usually most government forms, monthly autonomy will also change. So that's fine. Don't worry about autonomy. It'll go down over time. You don't want to have to raise autonomy everywhere. That would be bad. But in a couple of provinces that you've just taken, yeah, it's fine. So yeah, that's, by the way, what's telling me here. There's all this provincial unrest. I've exiled armies, which is this one. We're returning them home. We're working on the cores. Yep, we've got a truce. We can build castles, which we still don't care about. And we currently have no mission selected, so we should probably... Spain must be Christian. Yeah, it's a good idea, but we're first going to go serenade Denmark. Because why not? So we're going to go send a diplomat right there. Okay, so we're kind of set up now for peace. We've dealt with everything, with all the results. We've dealt with a war and all the results of a war, so I think this is a good stopping point. And I'm going to continue this game, probably for not too much longer. But I really like that I got to show you guys how a war goes, because that's really important. And I'll probably get to show you a couple more things, but at this point you should have pretty much all the tools you need to be successful at Europa Universalis 4. But that said, there's still actually a lot to learn. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.